man. Go on with it, go on with it. Do us. So we are coming in with a force. Yeah. Blessing it.
Yeah.
Work, man. Can't ball in a life, man. Go on with it, go on with it. Do us. So we are coming in with a force. Yeah. Blessing the reaper.
Yeah.
Work. Watch it to me, I get work. See me do me dirt. So me for that work. When you walk out, in the cafe, try me, I deserve it. That's a job you're lurking.
Yeah.
You make a like, now you don't like it. You know I dealt with you the nicest. Nobody touched me in the race. Nobody touched me in a crisis. I believe that all of your dreams are duration. You took my heart, all my keys, and my patience.
Yeah.
Work. Watch it to me, I get work. See me do me dirt. So me for that work. When you walk out, in the cafe, try me, I deserve it. That's a job you're lurking.
Yeah.
You make a like, now you don't like it. You know I dealt with you the nicest. Nobody touched me in a race. Nobody touched me in a crisis. I believe that all of your dreams are duration. You took my heart, all my keys, and my patience.
All right, y'all. Sorry, I was running around trying to get myself ready to be on camera. So y'all probably saw that intro one too many daggone times. But I'll put, for all my replay gang, I will put a starter note on the front end. But what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Shay Renee, and we are back to talk about love and marriage, Huntsville. Okay, so I don't know what episode it was because they changed this so many times. Like some people had season 3, episode 29. Some people had season 4, episode 29. But last week it was season 5, episode 13. So I'm going to call it season 5, episode 14. Okay. But we got to watch the episode and that's that on that. So moving on. So y'all, I want to start this out by talking about the most recent post by the youngest Scott brother, Micah Scott. Okay. Y'all, these Scotts seem to be so obsessed with Miss Mel. Like, get a freaking life already. Like, we're going to talk about this. What's up, Linda Gamble? What's up? Thank you so much for joining me. She says, good afternoon, Shay Renee. Good afternoon. Linda says, how are you doing? I am doing so much better, y'all. I be having little bouts with my voice here and there, y'all, and it just be blowing me and getting on my nerves. So that's why I don't really see you guys like as much as I should, but I'm getting better. My voice is getting better, and I don't be trying to sound all scratchy with y'all. Sis don't be wearing no jackets when she go out, so I'm gonna get my life together so I can keep my voice intact, so I can talk to my peeps. Okay, but thank you so much for asking. Linda Gamble says next Saturday is the season finale. Oh, okay. Well, that's going to be good because I'm ready to go ahead and see the daggone reunion already. Liz MC says, hi, chat. What's up, Liz MC? All right, y'all. So let me go ahead. We are going to go ahead. Oh, no, y'all. I deleted my thing by accident. Oh, well. I gotta figure out. Oh, no, I didn't. Thank God. Okay. All right, y'all. So let's get into this photo here. All right, so Micah, the youngest Scott, and let me try to move this so y'all can see me at the same time. Okay, so Micah, the youngest Scott, okay, he posts new Mel and Kimmie, okay? Apparently, I guess Shay and Kimmie and them were all up hanging up out at the Black, okay? They're hanging out at Black, the cigar lounge, okay? And my thing is, why you couldn't just say Shay and Kimmie? Why you had to say new Mel? And mind you, I thought the blogs was saying that Martell and Sheree were done for because both of them had scrubbed each other's Instagram pages of photos of them, of each other. And neither one of them are following each other on Instagram, but somebody else had came out saying that they were never following each other on Instagram anyway, which I think is really odd and weird, but whatever. But both of them had pictures of each other on their pages, but now all of a sudden they don't. But then this pops up where y'all hanging out at Black together. So apparently Sheree is hanging out down in Huntsville, Alabama. But the people saw the shade of it all. So here's what the comments read. Someone says, messy, saying basically you being a messy for doing this. Somebody said you ain't shit boy. Someone else is just laughing. Someone else says messy. Somebody else comments, MF, you so messy. Okay. And Destiny, she's given the shocked covering her face emoji. Destiny, you just had to comment, didn't you? You had to come from under your mole of hiding in existence to say something. Why? Why are you even commenting? Just let it fly. Let it die and let it fly. That's what you need to do. You need to mind your business. Mind your business. That's all. Just mind your business. Okay? That's what you need to do. But y'all, what do y'all think about this messy foolishness? Okay? Like, I'm going to say this. I am so sick and tired of them talking about Mel. She don't talk about y'all at all. At all. Okay? In my Lisa Ray voice. At all. She doesn't talk about the Scotts at all. So I don't understand why y'all constantly have to bring her up. Why is she constantly on your mind? I just don't get it. Like, it's just really sad for people to be so obsessed with one individual that so-called doesn't affect your life very much. So if somebody don't affect my life, guess what I'm not going to be doing? Talking about them. Okay? Not at all. All right. Linda Gamble says the Scotts are so obsessed with Melody. Yes, they definitely are. It's given ridiculous. So let's get into this episode, y'all. So the episode starts out with Marceau talking to the bartender, and Tisha comes in because apparently this is their date night. Okay. So they're going to, chill out, hang out and whatnot. So they make a joke about Jalen, which we all know is Kimmie's son, Marceau's nephew. Okay. So they're like, where's Jalen? When is he coming in? And they're like, oh, he's a bona fide cougar tamer. Okay. Then Tisha says, well, speaking of cougar tamers, what about Martell? And, he got himself a cougar, basically alluding to talking about Sheree. Okay. So I think that they're starting to try to introduce Sheree on the show because we're going to see some type of crossovers in the future. Who knows? I don't know. But I don't really care to see Sheree on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, more or less to see her on Huntsville, child. So, whatever. They like it. I love it. Anyway, so they talk about, they kind of talk about Martell. Then they slide into, Marceau says, well, speaking of Martell and Mel, Mel is actually going to be coming by. Okay. And so she's like, well, what is Mel coming by for? And Marceau says, basically, I wanted her to come by because we all had that meeting that basically the come to Jesus meeting of the original 6. And we talked about how we're not going to talk about each other anymore outside of the circle. We're going to try to eliminate other people talking about us within the circle, especially if they're not on the show. They don't, really have anything to do with what we're doing here. We don't want them to be starting mess amongst us and they're not even in the group or whatever. So that was what they talked about in their pre-comeback group meeting a couple of episodes ago where we all came together and Melody had that wig of tragicness on her head that I was like, girl, I love you, but don't wear that Cruella wig ever again. Okay. So moving on, Tisha immediately gets upset. She's like, why is Mel coming here? Like, she don't need to be coming here. And why are you texting her? And why you da-da-da-da-da? I'm like, Tisha, I don't understand you sitting here getting upset that this girl is coming by here. Didn't you just pop your ass up at her on her vacation? Oh, you didn't ask if it was okay for you to come first. You just popped in on their vacation. Martell invited you, yes, but it wasn't even his house. You didn't take the time to get to know all of that information before you dragged your wackadoodle ass over to their house to kiki and be fake. Because you acting like right now you didn't really want to be there, but the whole time you were there, you were smiling in Mel's face and so excited to be in her presence. So I don't understand why it's such a hardship for you to welcome her with open arms to your cigar lounge when she opened her beautiful, nice beach home to you, which I'm sure was an upgrade from the Days Inn that you and your family were staying at. I'm sure. So, girl, you better knock it off. Knock it the hell off, okay? Like, I am so sick and tired of Tisha and her grade school way of handling things. Like, girl, tell me that you mad that Mel won't be your friend without saying it. Like, that's what this whole scene was giving. It was giving, I'm pissed that Mel doesn't want to be around me, or she doesn't want to be my friend. So I don't want to entertain her in my spaces because I'm just a fucking hater. And your own husband pointed it out. He's like, well, are you jealous of her? Like, it's giving jealous wife. So she's like, don't ever say I'm jealous of her. I am not jealous of anybody. And for you to say that, like, I think she was more in tune with the fact that he said that she was jealous than thinking about the fact that she looks like a fool with what she's doing on camera. Like, you're looking jealous, sis. It's giving very jealous. It's giving, I'm a hater. I'm jealous of Mel. And we don't frankly know why. Like, what is the reason? What is the reason? Why are you acting like this? Because my thing is, I would just let her come in here. We talk about what we need to talk about, and she can go on about her business. Like, if you know your husband doesn't want her, or there's no foul play at stake, why are you so upset? You got your curls all in a bunch. I don't get it. Okay. So she was like, well, why did she have to come on our date night? And he says, well, that was the only day that she was available. I gave her some dates, and this was the one. You know, I gave her some dates, and she said, well, none of those work for me. Are you available on this day, or whatever the case may be? And it ended up being their date night. So Tisha says, I'm just not comfortable with her. She said, I'm her enemy and we are not friends. And so we are just cordial. And Marceau is like, okay, well, why can't you just be cordial in this moment and have this meeting with her? We said that we were going to talk to your mother. We were going to talk to Mark. And actually, there's some stuff that's going to come out that Mark is going to put out there. And I want to talk to Mel because I want to make sure that she knows that we don't have anything to do with it and that we're distancing ourselves from this guy because he's basically out here going ham. And I don't want to be in the mix of the minutia and the bullshit. Okay, I don't want to be in the mix of it. I don't want nobody to think we are part of it. And that's just that on that. Okay. So I want to have a conversation with her, letting her know that this ain't what we want. Okay. We ain't got nothing to do with him and his BS. Okay. And Tisha still doesn't see through that. You know, I just feel like dealing with Tisha, if I'm Marceau, that is a headache. You know I don't really like the way Marceau talks in riddles and he kind of plays mind games with Tisha or whatever. But in this moment, I can see him actually being mature. Like, he's trying to be mature. He's trying to have a conversation with her. And it's difficult when trying to have a conversation with somebody that's very immature, very childish, and wants to hold a grudge with somebody. And he was basically like, I thought you guys let this stuff go. Like, I thought at, dinner, y'all had let this stuff go and whatnot, or you guys were deciding that you're putting that stuff in the past. And Tisha was like, well, she calls me her enemy and this, that, and the third. So I'm not trying to be around somebody like that or have somebody like that in my space. Like, we can just be cordial and I'm only going to be around her when I have to be. Okay. So moving on. Marceau walks out frustrated because he feels like Tisha's reaction is just not what he was looking for. Like, it's giving team too much. She's doing the most. So he gathers himself and he comes back in and he tries to reassure Tisha that he isn't trying to embarrass her. This isn't one of those times where he's just, doing the most and trying to outwardly embarrass Tisha, which I feel like actually, yes, it is. Because why would you invite her on your date night? You knew that was your date night. You set yourself up, sir. But anyway, he's just like, he basically just wants to iron things out because of what's getting ready to happen with Mark. And he tells her he needs to do this in his way because her way has never worked. And Tisha says, well, my way does work. And he's like, no, it doesn't, because we're still in this position. And she's like, well, whatever. You saying that I'm jealous, that was just totally disrespectful. Like, I'm not jealous of her, and you know that. And she says, so whatever, I'm leaving and I'm going to I'm going to go get the girls. And her confessional, she's like, yeah, I'm just going to go hang out with my kids because, I'm like, girl, you argue with this man about taking you out on dates and doing things with you all this time. But then you want to get mad at him because Mel is coming. That doesn't make any sense to me. Any sense whatsoever. Hey, sister girl, come on in. I turned the camera off so you can just walk through if you want and go down in the basement. Okay. Sorry. Hold on, y'all. My sister done came through. She ain't trying to be on the camera now. All right, y'all. So back to what I was saying. So she's being childish. She gonna go hang out with the kids because she's mad that Mel is coming. Okay. So she leaves, and as they're walking out, Marcel walks her out and tells her she's being ridiculous. And even though she's being ridiculous, he still loves her. And if she wasn't so thick, they would have a problem. Which I can see the dynamic between them shifting. Like, I feel like I can see Marcel kind of acting more attracted to Tisha now than he has in the past, which I can appreciate. But I just feel like in this whole scene with Tisha gives off a very, very jealous person. Like, she's very, I don't know why she's like this. Like, I feel like she thinks that everybody is supposed to dance to her music, do whatever she wants to do. She has a very spoiled mentality. And that's exactly what Kimmie has said about her all along. Like, Tisha is very spoiled. And I couldn't honestly deal with somebody like that. It's very grade school-esque where we're on the playground and you don't want to play, you telling me I don't want to play with her, so you can't play with her either. Who gives a damn? Like, really? Who gives a damn? I'm over Tisha and her bullshit. For me, if I don't care about somebody or I'm not thinking about them as much as she says that she doesn't think about Mel and don't care about her, I wouldn't give a damn if she came in my restaurant or not. Buy a drink while you in here, bitch. That's what I would feel like. Support. Buy some wings. Hey, is the kitchen open? Let her support our business while she in here. Okay? That's how I would be thinking. I'm not worrying about her coming up here unless you think Marcel won her or something. If you know that Marcel is not interested in her or you don't like her, y'all just sat in. It just bothers me because you just sat in her beach house. But it's not okay for her to come to Black and have a conversation with Marcel, which makes sense. They all said that they were going to have conversations with Mark and Wanda. But anyway, y'all, moving on, because Tisha, she just makes my damn she makes my head hurt. I cannot deal with somebody like her. Word on the curb that Letitia and Marcel, including Destiny, will not be returning. What? Wow. Well. Nobody cares, I'm sure. I mean, Tisha is so childish. I don't think, honestly, I could see Destiny not returning because production probably fired her. But Marcel and Tisha, I don't see why they wouldn't return. Like, they probably need the money and the publicity for their restaurants. And two, what would be the reason for them not to come back? Like, Tisha, I mean, are they upset? Maybe Carlos told them, I'm not going to be protecting you guys anymore from all of this stuff that's going on in the blogs. These pictures of your back and all this stuff, you guys are going to have to start addressing this stuff now. And if you don't, then you are going to have to kick rocks as well. That's what I think. I don't know. Roster27 says, hey, Shay, I caught your live again. I'm so lucky. What's up, Roster27? Thank you so much for getting on. You know I love when I see you on here, okay? So I'm glad that you are here as well and caught up with me, okay? Thank you so much for watching. So, yeah, I don't know, Linda. I don't know why they wouldn't come back because it just wouldn't make any sense. But whatever, to each their own. So in the next scene, Martell meets with Chris Fletcher to look at a venue for his Inez wine situation. Okay, so they look at this place that apparently sells doors, and they're looking to have the event in one of the trailers that they have out back or whatever. And apparently they've had events in there before. They'll take the doors out and whatnot, and it can hold up to 450 people. But Martell is not impressed. He's like, I don't like it. It looked too industrial. This ain't what I want. It ain't as elegant as the Atlanta home was. So I want something that's going to be similar to that if I'm going to have my event, especially this is where home is. So I want it to be nice. So Chris asks, did he discuss everything with Uncle Sam? Because you done messed it up last time. Okay, last time you did your little speech, you wasn't speeching correctly. Okay, you ain't even talk about your grandma very much, and you didn't talk about your uncle that came all the way down there to celebrate with you either. Are you gonna make sure you don't mess it up this daggone time? So Martell says, yeah, my uncle was pissed off with me. He was pissed off for about a week. My mother had to talk to him and everything. You're damn right, he was pissed off at you. Cause you up there talking, yeah, we buy other people's shit, and they buy our shit. Your speech was some shit, okay? What the hell is wrong with you? Like, Martell, how are you going to drink wine and you can't even hold your liquor? Like, what? You selling wine and can't hold your liquor. Or your wine, for that matter. This is a 13, according to you, 13 and a half, it is the forte. That's the percentage of alcohol that's in this wine. But you can't even hold your liquor. I don't, child. Okay, sir. This what you want. Okay. So moving on, he says that him and his uncle are good. He talked to his uncle, and the uncle was like, we saw where they had a phone conversation where the uncle was like, yeah, I'm all good. Everything's cool. I don't hold grudges that long. We blood, and it is what it is. First of all, Uncle Sam, you was about ready to send your nephew to Jesus. That's what you was about to do, because you was about to knock him out at this event. I seen it in your eyes. And Martell coming up in here with a squirrel on his neck talking about something. Oh, you need to give me some respect. Where's the respect? And the uncle with looking like Debo, looking at him like, I know you fucking lying. I need to respect you, but you sat up here and embarrassed me and our family the way that you did, wearing all white and a squirrel around your neck. I know you lying. Get out, go away from me with this BS, because you have ultimately tried it with me. I'm gonna get out of here before I hit somebody, and the somebody is you. Okay, that's what the uncle was given at the Atlanta event. Okay, Roster 27 says Latifah. Y'all, Latifah, that is damn funny. Latifah is jealous of Mel, and she also hates that people like her. Yeah, it's okay for people to like you, and it's okay for people to like Mel. Why does anybody liking Mel affect her life at all? At all? How does that hurt her if anybody likes Mel? So what? Tisha, Latifah, you're not doing anything for anybody to like you, period. You're very selfish and such a busybody. And we're going to talk about that, because I synced you in your little conversation with Kimmie where you up in there being a busybody and trying to be a little messy little hen, okay? We're going to talk about that. Mrs. Edith says Uncle Sam was ready to slap the taste out of Martell's mouth. Child, she was going to slap that 13.5 out of his throat. That's exactly what she was going to do. Okay? Slap the 13.5 right up out that daggone leisure white suit. Okay? Thank you very much. That's exactly what she was about to do. He was about to do. Simply Beautiful says Martell also hates that people like Mel. Anytime they beef, he says, if y'all knew the real Mel, y'all wouldn't follow her. Like, yeah, why do they care? Like, let me tell y'all something. The people that I don't like, I don't talk about them. And I don't give a damn who talks about them, because I don't care about them that much that I don't give a damn. Y'all can talk about them. You can like them. You can love them. You can do whatever you want with them. As long as I'm not associated. Because if I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. And that's that on that. And I don't give a damn who fucks with you. Like, because what you eat don't make me shit. Period. Control the controllables. Mel is not to be controlled. So that's the problem with them. They can't control her and control her narrative. They want her to, they don't like the fact that she's elevating higher than them. And that eats the inside of each one of their assholes up so much that they can't stand it. Okay? They can't stand it. Roster 27 says, it's the audacity and entitlement of Hotel. That just kills me. Girl, right. Right. For all the things that you've done, and you think that somehow you're entitled to her success in any kind of way, or that she would even think about being with you again. What is going on in your rabbit ass mind? I don't, the audacity, like Sis says, the audacity. Okay. But moving on, Martell says, overall, Sam will be at the event. And he's going to be there to support. Okay. They're on a good page now. So Chris asks, how's the family? And Martell tells him after that he ended up going on the Destin trip with Mel. Everything went well. And he just wants them to be good because they need to be able to co-parent effectively. And Chris says, well, dang, I was hoping for, Martell also adds that they've realized that they just need to co-parent. He don't want her, she don't want him. Like, they just got to be on the same page as far as the kids. And that's just that on that. And Chris breaks in and says, Dag, no Eminem anymore. Like, I really just don't want to accept that. Like, I'm really was holding out hope that you guys would get back together. Let me tell y'all something. These people on these TV shows, stop waiting for them to get back together. Stop promoting toxicity in relationships. They do not need to be together. Okay? Martell will have to show years of progress for her to even think slightly about even being his friend. Okay? I just don't know why anybody is pushing for these two to get back together. This man has done so much. And it's the blasphemy for me. Men think that they can do whatever they want and women are supposed to just bend over backwards. Yes, I'm master and be with you. No. You can do whatever you want, but let a woman cheat on a man. That bird is dead to that man. Okay? Women can't do nothing. We can't even sniff another man's upper lip and not get thrown to the wolves. Okay? Like, I know y'all are lying. I don't want to see nobody else talking about them getting back together because that is just ridiculous. And somebody said in the blogs that apparently, allegedly, Mel dating a basketball player. So Martell, you can go over here and keep dating broke ass Shay and Gator Mott, Arion, whatever y'all calling her these days. Child, you go ahead and deal with Gator Mott and Brokey. She over here dealing with apparently basketball players. Or even if she not, I'm sure Mel is dealing with somebody so far out of the league of any of these women on this show and out of way better than Martell that she's not even going to reveal who this person is ever. Y'all probably ain't going to know who this man is until they jump the broom, if they do. Because Mel probably don't even want to get married anymore. Because to have somebody around her children again will probably be a big deal for her. And trust me, we'll know when Mel dating somebody because if she do bring him around the kids gonna tell it, and Martell gonna say something too, because he grilling them kids still every time they come over his house. Why would anyone want that? Simply Beautiful says, "What's up, Simply Beautiful? Why would anyone want that woman to get back with that sorry ass man, girl?" I don't know. Probably because Chris Fletcher was out here dick diving and everything in Huntsville too, and his wife kept taking him back, and she told him this the last time I'm gonna take you back. Since the last time, so he done kept his nose clean, child. So maybe he's thinking because his wife took him back so much that maybe Mel will take Martell back. Simply Beautiful says Chris and his wife had a front row seat to Martell's disrespect of Melody. Yeah, because they would go over there and have rock throwing, drag out fights in front of them, and they have to break it up. So what you witnessed the toxicity firsthand. Why would you think that that was a good idea for them to be together again? Yeah, no. Roster 27 says Simply Beautiful Mel is not checking for that food. Hell no, she ain't check. She is not checking for Mighty Mouse, okay? Him and his tight suits can go on over there and get in where he fit in at the chateau and hope it don't get foreclosed on, okay? And that's that on that. Moving on. So Chris and Martell continue to talk, and Martell says, yeah, I get it. Everybody wants for us to get back together, but only me and Mel know what's best for us. Okay, right now we just want to be good co-parents. He even tells him about Marceau. Then Martell tells Chris about Marceau and Tisha popping up on the Destin trip and asks when was the last time Chris saw Marceau. So Chris Fletcher talks about Marceau and him actually using him as a scapegoat when Tisha apparently had trapped him in a corner asking him about this picture of his back that has circulated around the internet. And Marceau basically told her that he was with Chris Fletcher, so there was no way that that could have been his back. And Chris was like, well, I don't know if it's his back or not, but it's not a definite that there's no way, because we were only together for about 4 hours. First of all, I don't think him and Chris was together at all. I think Chris is trying to extend him an olive branch by helping a brother out by saying that he was with him for 4 hours, period. Because Chris, you were in New York and you made sure that you put your location on and posted it so people could see that. So you tried it, and you tried to make sure that Marceau wasn't going to use you as a scapegoat. Okay. So I don't know why you got itching for snitching, but yeah, you came on national TV and you made sure that that was a part of your conversation of all things to talk to Martell about, to make sure that you clear the air and say, listen, I don't know what Marceau got going on, but what he ain't gonna do is lie on me. Okay. So I wasn't with him the whole weekend. We was together for 4 hours. We saw some properties. I don't know what he was doing. And apparently he was hanging out with a lady friend or two. And I don't know nothing about that, but he wasn't with me. Okay. That's Chris Fletcher. That's what he was saying. And Martell was like, yeah, I heard about this photo of his back and all this and the third, but I guess they trying to say he was with some woman, or I don't know, but okay. Both of them kind of brushed over that. But Chris definitely wanted to make it apparent that it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Okay. So Marceau, you want to lie to your wife? Don't add me into the mix of your spaghetti bullshit. Okay. So moving on. Chris basically said he ain't had nothing to do with that. Then and don't put it on him. So then he asked if Mel is coming to the event. And Martell says she's invited, but if she wants to come or not, that's up to her. Okay. So moving on, Mel finally arrives at Black and they sit down to talk. And Marceau basically tells her about his convo with Mark, so that if she needs anything, if she sees anything else on social media and whatnot, him and his family's name is Scott, but they gonna change to Bennett because they ain't in it. Okay. They ain't in it. They ain't trying to be in it. They don't want to be a part of whatever the heck brother Mark got going on. He can sow his royal oats into the BS all he wants, but they don't want to have nothing to do with it. But I also think that Marceau wanted to see Mel. I think that Marceau, if y'all see Marceau, him and his grimace face always lights up like a Christmas tree every time Miss Mel steps in the building. I think Marceau is attracted to how much of a boss Mel is. For him to want a woman that's so submissive, like he's trained Tisha to be, I think that he really wants somebody that's like that's a boss, like Mel. I think that he's only used to seeing that. So that's all he knows in a relationship, to try to create in a relationship. But if he was to get in a relationship with somebody like Mel, and I think that may be who his extracurricular activities, in my opinion, if he is cheating on Tisha, it seems like the women that he cheats with are boss women. Like the last one that came out on that channel that we ain't gonna talk about, that screenshot that does text messages to herself and puts people's names and acts like it's from them. Yeah, y'all know what channel I'm talking about. I don't like to talk about other YouTubers, but that one right there blows my mind every time she does that. But moving on, like we don't know and we dumb. But anyway, yeah, like I feel like he messes with women that have a mind of their own, does their own thing, boss, chicks, okay? And I think he's attracted to that and he really likes that. And Tisha doesn't possess that quality. So when he sees Mel or someone like a Mel, I think he's instantly, it lights him up. He's instantly attracted to that. So he tells Mel about all this stuff with Mark, and Mel's just like, I don't care. She's like, is any of this have to do with me? And rightfully so, because that has to do with her mother. And yes, they said that they were going to keep outsiders from talking trash about them and whatnot, but why did you have to have a private conversation with Mel to talk about stuff that Mark is saying about her mother? You know, Miss Van, why you ain't had a conversation with Van? You just wanted to hang out with Mel. And it's even shadier that you did it on your date night with Tisha, because he probably knew that Tisha was going to be childish and leave the room. That's what I think. Or leave the restaurant, so that she didn't have to be a part of it, because she's that childish. And now he got the rest of his day to himself. Now he ain't got to deal with Tisha. He done got a chance to dote upon Mel for a minute and see her privately. He done had a good old day. And he happy with himself. Okay. So moving on, Mel, like, yeah, unless it got something to do with me, I don't care. And in her confessional, she's like, I wish he had told me this was what it was about, because I wouldn't even show the hell up, honestly, quiet as it's kept. Okay. Ross 27 says, simply beautiful, Mel is not checking for that food. Sheila White says, Chris didn't bring a child in the mix. Very true. Very, very true. You are very true. Very right, Sheila. Right. That's right. Because bringing a kid in, even though Mel said that she left Martell before she thought to leave him before all of that even came about. But yeah, something about having a kid, that just really cements that we will never, ever, ever be getting back together. Okay. Simply Beautiful says, hey girl, I had to stop by and support. And I appreciate you doing that. Thank you so, 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 so much. Like, I really appreciate each and every person that joins my chat, comments, talks to me, views my shows. Like, I truly, truly, truly appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. I truly do. Kimmie and Maurice are hosting a dinner for the original six. Now, this is the last scene of the show. And this is where they go into talking about Kimmie and her diagnosis, and everybody comes together. Okay. So they're talking, and Tisha used this as an opportunity to shade Marceau, because Marceau is coming over to basically cook for Kimmie. Because ever since they found out about her diagnosis, everybody has been kind of banding together in their own way to support Kimmie in any way that they can. So his way of supporting this on this specific day was to cook. And Tisha was like, well, I don't get to see you cooking that often. I'm like, Tisha, it's not about you right now. Like, she is the mindfuck of the century. Why do you use this as a time to throw a jab? Everything can't be about you, sis. And here's the thing. You haven't said anything you don't make him cook. You don't ask him to cook. You sit up here and do everything because that's what you want to do. So don't complain about it because now you see him cooking for somebody else. You should have been complaining if that was the problem. You've been big mad that he don't cook for you and the kids, or that he don't do this, that, and the third. You started complaining that he don't go on vacations with y'all. He don't spend time with y'all. He don't do this. He don't do that. I wanted to, y'all know I do a new segment called I Just Have a Little Bit More to Say. I was going to come on and talk about how Tisha, apparently in the last episode, when Maurice came over to tell Marceau about the diagnosis with Kimmie and the actual severity of it all, the reason why Marceau was tearing his fence down is because he had came up with the idea of planting flowers and doing a garden as a family. Like, he wanted the girls to do it, him, Tisha, the girls, and their son or whatever. He wanted to do it all as a family. And Tisha decided to go get her nails done instead and not do it. So, and she was like, she don't want to do it. And so Marceau was like, okay, well, forget you then. I'll do it with the kids myself. So you complained about him not wanting to spend time with you and the kids, but you decide that you want to that's more important, to go get your nails done. And he's trying to change. That can be frustrating to a man. You whining and crying and carrying on and kicking and screaming in the middle of the floor about all these things that I'm not doing. But then when I start to do it and I'm starting to address your needs and actually do the things that you're asking me to do, instead of you complying and acknowledging that I'm doing that, you still want to find some shit to complain about. So this woman is over here basically fighting for her life. And you want to use this time to complain that he's coming over here to make a meal for her? Girl, shut the fuck up, Tisha. Shut all the way up. I just don't have no time for her and her childish bullshit. Like, and then you see how she perked up. She's so ready. She's so excited now. You was pissed off with Marcel at Black, but now you perked up to talk about Mel. You are just a messy little somebody. I can't stand a messy bird. And that's exactly what Tisha is. A messy, selfish, trifling chick. Okay? That's why Mel don't want to be your friend. And that's why you and Destiny are the best of friends, because both of y'all are some tragic haters. It's tragic. Tragic. Trash. That's what both of them are. So she's sitting there. She's like, yeah, and Marcel don't never cook for me. And yeah, so y'all, we went to Destin. And, you know, Mel was actually pleasant. Okay? As if she's not pleasant around you most of the time. Tisha, you seem to talk about Mel way more than sis talks about you. Matter of fact, you don't never cross her lips. Ever. I haven't seen your name come across her Maybelline, not at all, until you bogarted, like you bum rushed her trip. That's it. Why do you seem to keep this lady's name in your spirit? It's always sizzling in your spirit. You just got to keep talking about her. I don't get it. So you seem to take, instead of enjoying this time with your sister-in-law, embracing the time that you have with her, because we all never know the day nor the hour, especially with something like this as serious as cancer going on in her life. You choose to take this time to talk about Mel. But you don't care about Mel. But you want to talk about Mel. Okay? So even she's like, well, Marcel invited Mel to Black, you know, and this was our date night. How would you feel if Maurice invited somebody that called you their enemy out to dinner? And Kimmie was like, well, it depends. Like, me and Maurice have talked before we even got married that there is not to be any dinners or any sorts with any other women, period. But, you know, if he was to talk to me about it, you know, that's a different situation. You're talking to Tisha. You forgot you talking to a grown ass woman. Kimmie is not a selfish individual, and Kimmie is grown. Okay, she is too old to be going back and forth and arguing with somebody. She was like, yeah, but I mean, if he gave me enough heads up as to what it was about and whatnot, I'm sure I would have been fine with it. But Tisha was like, what about the day of? She's on her way. And then they both agreed. Maurice and Kimmie was like, yeah, that's a little bit much. We can't help you there, Marcel. But my thing is, yeah, should Marcel have given her more of a heads up? Sure. But I'm thinking in Marcel's mind, it wasn't that deep. It wasn't that serious. Okay. So then, because y'all was just at this woman's house playing games and talking and kicking a bobo and having a good old time. So why is it such a big old ordeal that she's coming to, mind you, a public place? It's not like he invited the woman to your house. Like you came and bum rushed her house. But don't nobody want to talk about that. And even Marcel said it. He's like, why are you so pissed off? He's like, you know, you went and met with Martell. I didn't have an issue with it. And she's like, well, that was about business. He's like, well, this is about pretty much about business. This is about all of our relationships and how they can move forward as a group. Like, so what? So it's okay for Tisha to do it, but it's not okay when. So everything she does is fine, but when somebody else does it, it's a big ass problem. Girl, bye. I don't got time for Tisha. So moving on, she sitting there giddy, gossiping like a schoolgirl, and then the conversation ends because Martell now walks in with his loafers. So he comes in the house about the bust out of that brown shirt. That's why he had to unbutton the first two buttons, so it didn't look too tight. And he comes in, he's like, "Oh, so you not cooking, Kimmie? Who cooking?" So he sees Marceau is cooking, and he like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to eat." He was like, "I'm still gonna eat, but I ain't used to this." So then they all go sit down at the table, and they begin to ask Martell questions about Sheree. So Martell is like playing coy and whatnot because he really don't want to tell them about Sheree and the bullshit. Okay. Simply Beautiful says, because Marceau said it, right? Tisha is jealous. Absolutely, definitely jealous. Simply Beautiful says Tisha is pissed off because she allowed her mama to put a narrative in her head about Mel and Marceau, which is crazy to me. Like, if you think that this man is cheating on you with every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's around, then you just need to put him in a bubble and hide him. Like, I don't know what to tell you. The man is going to be in public. He's going to see women. He's going to interact, and he's going to be around other people. Period. So I don't know what you want him to do. I really don't know what you want him to do. Short of tattooing your face on his forehead, I don't know. I don't know. And with Tisha, that would probably be the most reasonable thing for her to ask him to do with her stupid ass. But moving on, y'all. So they're at the table, and thank you so much for commenting again, Simply Beautiful. So they're at the table. They're talking about Sheree and whatnot, and Martell over there playing coy because he know that this whole relationship is a whole entire sham. Okay, y'all both it's a publicity stunt. Which, you know what? Honestly, y'all, I feel like it started out that way. Okay. But I think along the way, they actually started to like each other. I really do. I think the relationship is real now. And I think that Sheree is not going to put up with that BS from Gatormite, aka Coleslaw. Okay. I don't think anybody's going to put up with Sheree's going to put up with Gatormite and her BS. So that's why you don't really see her talking about Marceau playing in her middle anymore. She not on Instagram as much blasting him because she don't have any more material. And I think that Marceau is trying to get better. I really think that he realizes, man, this girl really ruined my life. I allowed, what he needs to realize is, I allowed, in his head, he needs to take it in. I allowed this relationship with this girl to ruin my life. That's how he needs to look at it. Instead of, she ruined my relationship. No, she wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you. And I think that Martell regrets his relationship with Gatormite. I really do. I think he really regrets it. And I think that if he could go back and change the hands of time, he would do it all over again and not have her a part of his life. Because Martell can't look at Melody's successes and be like, oh, you know what? I did her wrong. It's so great to see her being successful. And her success ultimately is my kid's success, because whenever she thrives, so do they. He can't look at it like that. He's jealous. He's like, well, I can't be a part of it, so I can't be happy for her. And I'm not successful right now either, so I'm not really tripping off of her. But I think that he's starting to find his way with that. Hopefully, anyway. And hopefully Sheree, with her messy behind, she's old enough. She's older. So I'm hoping that she's helping him to see the light in his BS. Okay. But moving on, he don't really want to talk about it. He ends up saying, yeah, we met through mutual friend, and Kimmie is so shady. She's like, yeah, these pictures that y'all got out here, now all of a sudden y'all got pictures. I'm like, Kimmie, tell us that that them pictures and they called the photographers, they called them without telling us, Girl, we know Martell and Sheree had that all set up. This was a whole publicity stunt of it all. Sheree wanted people to stop talking about Tyrone, and Martell wanted people to think that he was a better guy. So what way to do that than to get with Sheree? Now, Sheree don't have any children. She's older. She's established on her own. So now you want people to look at her like, oh, she better than Mel, which no, she's not. But who's to sit up here and measure both of them? I don't really care about who's better. It's all about whoever makes him happy at this point. Like, my thing is, I just want Martell to move on. I want him to live his life. I want him and Mel to get along for those children so that they can see healthy relationships. That's what I want them to see. I want them, if they're going to be in relationships with other people, them to be in relationships with responsible people and learn from the mistakes that they made in their marriage, so that as their kids are looking to them, they know how to conduct themselves in their future relationships, not creating issues and drama and turmoil with their spouse. That's what I want them to get at. Like, get to the point of being able to be cordial and happy for one another in separate relationships. That's what I would like to see. So moving on, Martell immediately tries to end that conversation because, of course, Melody is walking in into the building and looking as angelic as ever with her all white outfit on. And Martell, of course. Now, you was just talking about Shay. I wonder if Shay sees these confessionals of Martell's, because he's definitely dating her during the time that he's doing these confessionals, okay? I wonder if she sees him getting all sad and whatnot over Mel and feels away. Because clearly he still wants this, okay? Because he brings up, he's like, I realized this was a day that would have been our 14th wedding anniversary, and we're sitting down and she's wearing this all white. It just brings back memories, okay? And I'm just like, boy, go sit down somewhere. You already sitting down, but shut your mouth. Like, why did you even need to bring that up? You so-called moved on and she so-called moved on. Why are you even thinking about that? She, I'm sure, did not wear that all white for a reason. To like show you, hey, I wore white on this day 14 years ago. But then again, I don't know. Melody is a shade assassin behind the scenes, so she might have did that to remind him of what he ain't never gonna have again. And I wouldn't blame her if she did. So moving on, they continue their conversation. And then Martell decides to invite everybody to his Inez wine grand opening in Huntsville. So launch in Huntsville. So he says everybody is invited. And Marcel is like, well, can everybody bring a spouse? Basically being messy to see if Mel was going to bring somebody. So he asked Mel, are you going to bring somebody? Are you going to bring a spouse? And Mel was like, I don't even know if I'm coming. Like, I got to check my schedule. Knowing she ain't freaking coming. But Martell says, well, it's next Thursday. Mind you, if I'm as busy as Mel, I don't know what I'm doing next Thursday. And it's the week before. I'm going to look at my schedule on Monday and figure it out. Like, what? And mind you, this ain't important to me. So, like, no, I'm not coming. Like, period. But I'm being nice to you by saying I'm going to check my schedule. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge of just telling your ass, I don't fucking want to come. Okay, so don't ask me no more. All right? Because I can see her on the verge of getting there. But then Mel says in her confessional, yeah, I'm not about to be fooling with Martell because he's the same old messy man that I thought he was. We had a good time in Destin, but then you want to come back and do all this foolishness by telling somebody my medical history. Basically, Mel had COVID, and she didn't like that Martell told Gatormite, his baby mama. Okay? But let me say this to you, Mel. I understand that you're mad that he decided to discuss it with Gatormite. All right? But here's the thing. Something as serious as that, I don't know what context he spoke to her in it with, but he would have to disclose that because their son is around y'all kids. Y'all kids live with you. I would expect for him to tell you if she had it. Because then the son could have brought it to the kids and ultimately gave it to you. So that's not really telling your medical history. With the times that we're dealing with the C-19, we never know what's going on. So we got to protect each other and keep everybody safe. Now, I'm sure that Martell wasn't doing it in a way of concern, right? Because he could have easily had a conversation with Mel and said, listen, given the severity of what's going on, I know you ain't going to like it, but I'm going to have a conversation with old Gatormite over here and tell her what's going on. Okay? And that's that on that. Like, he could have told her that. But I don't think it's honestly, and I don't like sis, But I don't think it's far-fetched for him to have told her that. And you never know, given Martell's old trifling behind, he probably told Gatormont that because she was wondering why he wasn't going to be creeping in her back door no more. And he was running out of excuses to not come over her house, okay? Because he was over there with his feet, with his loafers up on the chateau's table, okay? And that's what it is. That's what I think. In my opinion, he was tired of hunching down on her. He found Sheree and her muscle butt, and he liked what's going on over there. So he ain't trying to be messing with sis no more. He ain't trying to jeopardize his situation. So that the C-19 that buy him at least a week did not have to deal with her and hump on her lumps. Okay. And that's that. But Mel is over here pressed and pissed because he done told her business. Okay. But moving on, they move on in the conversation, and Kimmie begins to speak, and she thanks everybody for coming to the dinner. And she says, I really appreciate everybody. And, Mel, I know I got emotional at the event at Stormy's and whatnot, and nobody really knew what was going on. But I've been kind of isolating myself for a couple of reasons now. I've been dealing with something, and I'm finally ready to talk about it. And, I'm going to need as much support as possible. And things like this, with us all getting together, really helps to raise my spirits. And I hope that we can continue to do things like that because it's going to be necessary to Kimmie's recovery. And she's like, getting my mind right is the best thing. Instead of she was, crying and carrying on, getting her emotions together is going to really be the most powerful thing, which she has said that's going to help her to get through this and ultimately overcome this disease. So she reveals that she is suffering with breast cancer and that she's going to have to undergo treatment. And so Melody instantly gets emotional. She begins to, rub Kimmie and console her. Martell even shows visible concern for Kimmie. And I felt it was very genuine. And even in his confessional, he's like, Kimmie is such a genuine person. Like, this happened to my grandmother and she ultimately passed away from it, from cancer. And, I just can't believe this is happening to her. She don't deserve this. And so he gets up and walks around the table and hugs her. And, I can see in small snippets that Martell deep down is a good person. Okay. You got to find the scrimps and scrapes inside of him. Okay. But he does have the capability and the ability to be a good person. And I saw that in him in that moment. And I can see why Mel went back the couple of times that she went back, because she was just hoping that a glimpse of that person that he showed right there would come back and take permanent residency in his mind, body, and spirit. But it didn't. Okay. But y'all, I'm very interested to see what the rest of the season is going to be about. Linda Gamble said that next episode is the finale. But I did see Tisha talking to Marceau yet again about Melody. Like, she's like, oh, yeah, they're talking about Martell and Sheree. And Marceau makes the comment about Mel possibly being jealous of Sheree. Why would I be jealous of somebody that has their name and their house in their mama's name? Why would I ever be jealous of that? Why would I be jealous of somebody that launches a business after 10 years of saying you're going to launch it and still doesn't do it right? And doesn't pay people, doesn't have any inventory of the products that she showcased at a fashion show. Okay. Somebody that is all about appearances, but doesn't give off the work to make this stuff look real. What does Sheree even do to make money besides the Real Housewives of Atlanta? And when she's not on this show, what is she like? What is she doing? We see what Mel is doing. We see the connections that Mel has. Sheree takes a couple pictures with a couple people, but who are they? Are you doing anything in collaborations to make any money for yourself? And not to put her down, but for y'all to sit up here and say that she's better than Mel, why? What gives you that? What has she done to prove that she's better than Mel? Y'all just that's the definition of just saying shit just to say it. That's what I think Marceau and Tisha does. And I feel like Marceau is hating on Mel and doing all of this just to get on in Tisha's good graces so she can stop playing Inspector Gadget inside of his boxes and sniffing his drawers every night when he comes in to see if he done dipped his dick in another person's cantaloupe. Okay. So, child, this season is absolutely messy. So over it. The Scots are looking company to join them in hating on Mel. Right. Right. Like, why is this woman so embedded in the back of y'all brain? I just don't get it. For you to not like her so much, but y'all talk about her so much because y'all don't have nothing else to talk about. And let me tell y'all why they talk about Mel so much. Thank you for commenting, Roster 27. They talk about Mel so much because they don't want to talk about their issues. They're trying to, you think you're slick. You think that we don't notice that y'all done came on here trying to act like the Cosbys this season. Like y'all, everything all good in the hood. Y'all done solved y'all problems. This Africa trip has opened up Marceau's mind, and his family is the only thing that's important. Because y'all trying to sweep under the rug all the stuff that's been happening behind the scenes. Let's talk about your sorority sister that was designing your clothes, Tisha, that he apparently was dipping his dick in too. That was supposed to be the chick that he was hanging out with when he was so-called with Chris Fletcher. Uh-huh. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how Carlos told y'all that y'all didn't have to talk about those things if you didn't want to. But now Carlos is making y'all talk about it. That's probably why y'all trying to skip and skedaddle off of this show if it's true that y'all not going to return next season. Because now he's going to make y'all be honest about your life. That's why Destiny hasn't been on camera, because he's sick and tired of her not talking about her life. And that's that on that. I forgot. I didn't get Simply Beautiful's comment. She says, I think Mel's point is he didn't have to put her name to it. He could have said my kids were around someone with C19. That's fair. You're right, Simply Beautiful. That's fair. To 100% agree. Absolutely. He didn't have to say it was her. He didn't. You're right. And now that I think about it, because my whole thing is, I was in the office with previous in my own personal experiences. I've been in situations. I'm not gonna say I've been around people that had it and nobody told me, and I was pissed. Or people that decided to continue to come around people knowing that they had it and didn't say anything. Now, even in the workplace nowadays, you have to report it so that they can anonymously let everybody that has worked closely with you that they need to take proper measures to make sure that their health is intact. Okay. So I think I agree with you wholeheartedly. He could have delivered that information without her name attached. Sister Funkenstein. Oh, I love the name. Sister Funkenstein says, happy Sunday, everyone. Please hit the like button. Yes, yes, yes. Please, please, please. Everybody hit the like button. Please comment in the chat with us. Come on, interact with us today. Thank you so much. So much for helping me out and joining the chat. Roster 27 says, already did, sis, and thank you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Desandra 70 says, a childish statement. What's that? Oh, about him telling about the C19. Yeah, I think that yeah, he really just doesn't have to. He didn't have to put her name in it, honestly. So again, I agree with that. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Please, 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 again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that's watching this show too. I will also be coming back on to talk about just some things that I've seen in the vlogs that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And also, guys, I am so excited. We're going to be coming up with another segment, me and my husband. Okay, so y'all will get to meet my husband, Brian. Okay. I don't know where we used to have a podcast called Always Wipe Front to Back. Now I'm gonna tell y'all, what the background of that is. So Always Wipe Front to Back, as you know, for women, that's to keep it clean and keep it nice and neat. Okay. My husband used to joke about that all the time. We'll be having a conversation, and I'm so excited for y'all to get to know him because y'all think I'm funny. He is hilarious, okay? But I watch these reality shows, and I talk to him about some of the shows sometimes just to get his opinion. So I was like, you know what? I think we should record these interactions so that other people can kind of gain insight into how both of us think about the show. So that's what we're going to talk about. And that always like front to back statement comes from randomly we'll be around the house doing stuff, and I'll be like baking the bed or something, and we'll be talking about bills or whatever, and he's like, and we'll be like, okay, yeah, cool, we're gonna do this, and he'll be like, oh yeah, and always work front to back. And I'm like, why would you say that? That is just so random. But yeah, y'all, so that's gonna be the name of our segment. So yeah, we're gonna have this new show coming out. We're gonna actually record the first episode tonight, and we're going to premiere the first episode this Thursday. Okay, so I will keep you guys posted on that. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys will join us for our new segment, and I will be back on later. I'll put the thumbnail up so you guys will know when I am coming back on to talk to you. So without anything further, thank y'all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.